Sometimes God will stand against the plans that you've made so that he can fulfill his own. Let me explain. This morning I was asking God, okay, what do you want me to focus on today? And he said, hope. And I'm like, great. Love that word for me. Give me more. And he said, I want you to meditate on Jeremiah 29:11. Now, this is one of those verses that I have heard a million times, but I've never really meditated on it. And so I was like, okay. And so I started reading it, and I was going slow and like letting every word soak in. And the very first part says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. And that word declares stuck out to me because a couple months ago, God had taught me about that word. And he said, anytime you declare something, it is not just standing for something, it is standing against something else. So for example, in the Declaration of Independence, when our forefathers signed that, they were not only standing for their independence, they were standing against the authority of the King of England. And so they were putting their foot down and saying, we will not bow to this authority anymore. We are standing for our independence. So I'm like, okay, so God is declaring something in this verse. And that means that he is standing for the plans that he has for us. So what is he standing against? And I thought about it and it clicked. Not only is he standing against the enemy's plans for us, he sometimes has to stand against our own plans for us. Let me break it down a little bit further. My daughter is 2 years old. Girl loves her snacks, okay? She would snack all day if I would let her. And one day we were kind of at an impasse because it was almost dinner time and she wanted a snack. And I had to tell her, no, we're about to eat dinner. You're not getting a snack right now. And I get the little attitude, and she gets mad at me because she thinks I'm being mean because I won't let her have a snack. But I didn't want her to have a snack. I wanted her to have a meal. Let that sit for a second. So how many of you could honestly admit that you think God's being a big meanie right now because he's not doing things the way you want him to? Maybe it's because he doesn't want you to have a snack. He wants you to have a meal. You just have to wait a little longer for it. His ways are always going to be higher than our ways. His thoughts are always going to be higher than our thoughts. But that means that we can trust that he's already got it all figured out in our best interest, even when we can't see it right now. Anyway, if that resonates with you, I kind of would love to talk to you more about just your identity as his child. Because I think that's a large part of it, is that we just don't know what kind of father he is. And so I wanted to introduce you to my book, 7 Days to a Life of Limitless. I have a whole chapter in here on identity and a whole section dedicated to a healthy relationship with God and what he looks like as a father. So if you need to do a little bit more of a deep dive into that subject, this will be a great place to start. And you can now get signed copies in TikTok Shop or on my website.